Hi, welcome to our top 5 resources for October. We're going to share some of our Master Gardeners' favorite resources for things that they use in the garden or for things they do in the garden in October. We are the San Bernardino County Master Gardeners, part of the Division of Agriculture and Natural Resources under the University of California, not part of the campus system directly, but part of the research division. We're trained volunteers, enthusiastic plant people who love to share about growing food, sustainable landscaping, and just generally better living through gardening. We will be starting our next training class in January of 2025, and that will be held in Redlands in person and also have an online hybrid option. So we'll be updating that information on our website soon. And so stay tuned. If you're interested to join the team, then check out that application on our website and I'll share that information at the end of the presentation. We're also joining us are the San Bernardino County Master Food Preservers. Sorry about the spacing there. But there's a long pause because that food will be preserved for a long time. Also part of the Division of Agriculture and Natural Resources, enthusiastic food preservation people looking at ways to save an abundant harvest and also to make sure that people are using safe food practices and also looking at how to reduce food waste through food preservation and also, if you will, like upcycling different components of things you bring into the kitchen, like food scraps into broths, and just looking at how to use every piece and part of the plant and also animals that you bring in. The Master Food Preservers will also be starting their training class in January, and you can go to their website to find out more information about that. So our first resource today, and I'm going to go into editing mode because I'm going to jump back and forth between these pages, is the California Botanical Gardens. They used to be called the Rancho Santa Ana Botanic Gardens. They're in Claremont, outside of San Bernardino County, but right on the edge. And they are an incredible resource to find out all about native plants. And so I'm going to be jumping over, I think they're all still in order, to all these resources and just toggle through them real quick. So this is, if you go to their website, their homepage, has this beautiful photo here. And if you click in the center, then they have their general information, but that they've got great classes. So you can check out their events and classes. And also, if you go like under collections, you can find out more about seeds. You can see their native plant inventory. You can learn about their restoration efforts. And if you kind of scroll through these different tabs, I don't want to take too much time on just this website, but there's a lot of educational information. And under seeds, I'll just click real quick. I don't know if it's here. Um, there's information about the work that they do. And then there's also information about like seed collection and storage guidelines. This is a really academic form. I think it's an Excel or some kind of spreadsheet. And also germination data. This one's really interesting. Let's see how long this takes to download. And so is it done? Oh yeah, this one's in Excel. This one's a little bit, if you're really into native plants and seed saving, see, am I breaking the computer's brain trying to open this? It's not such a big file. But if you're really interested in seed saving, then a lot of and native plants, it's very easy to save the seeds, but when it comes to getting them to germinate, it can be tricky. And so this has a chart that tells you the things. Excel can't do this. Okay, well, it's not letting me open the Excel. Here it is. Okay, so this goes all the way back to, it looks, let's see how long it goes back real quick, going down the rabbit hole. Okay, let's just sort this one. Let's see how far back this data goes. So this data goes back to 1975. There are, how many lines? 6,842 lines. And you can sort, so these are different seeds. So here you can see, for example, yucca and different attempts that they made to soak the seed. So if you have like the value of this Excel spreadsheet is that if you have a particular native seed that you're trying to start, you could try to search it in here. And this is just data from different things that their restoration nursery has done to start seeds. So you can see here in column Q, it tells you some notes on what was successful, or what they tried. So native seeds are definitely a challenge. But anyways, that's just the seed portion. They also have a lot of great classes. They've got a lot of, and the other thing about the California Botanic Gardens that I really enjoy is if you're thinking about planting a native plant in particular or redoing your yard with native plants or a section of your yard, it's a great place to go to see those plants throughout the year and see what they look like at their best and see what they look like when they're looking a little bit rough around the edges because they're doing what they do best, which is, kind of going dormant in the summer usually and being able to not die in our extreme conditions without a lot of support. So the California Botanic Gardens is a great resource. They just actually opened their native plant nursery for the season. I love that their nursery runs from October to May because that is kind of like the planting time. Definitely the fall is the best planting time and to allow those plants to establish before summer's heat. I did a number of years. I've planted some stuff in the fall and some stuff in the spring. And I have been so amazed at how much better the stuff I plant in the fall establishes and makes it through the summer. Even if I try to support those native plants in the summer that I plant in the spring, because those plants go summer dormant, it's really tricky to get the balance of watering them enough to establish, but also not overwatering them because the plant is tending to stop using as much resources because it's kind of like trying to go dormant a little bit. So, anyways, great resource and their plant nursery. This is their opening weekend, so if you're in the neighborhood, you should check it out. Our next resource, a lot of lists today. I am a huge fan of plant lists. And so this is one that Betsy shared as well. Most of these are ones that Betsy shared. So thank you, Betsy. We'll go on to this one. And I love the plant list. I haven't seen these before. And it was interesting. I was like, I had never thought of us as a coastal plain, but we're certainly, well, you may be in the high desert or mountains, in which case you're not a coastal plain. But we are, more on the coastal side of the plain. I was thinking when I saw this list at first, I was like, thinking, are we coastal? But we're definitely, in the Inland Empire here, south of that mountain range that protects us from that continental air mass and gives us a slightly different environment. So this one has some really great plants. I don't know, Betsy, if there's anything else you want to share about why you love this list. I certainly love this list. And let's see, might be muted or offline. Oh, and
No,
that's okay.
I just love natives.
Well, native plants are awesome, and I love that, for me, I'm trying to work on learning the scientific names. It's never been a high priority for me, but a lot of times in the native plant, um, world, well, I mean, there's so many plants that have a similar common name, but are not actually the same plant. So I see the value of at least being familiar with the scientific names, just like the species names. So these have the common name, the species name. Is that the species name? I'm also trying to work on my nomenclature here. So really great information on this list. Okay, our next one is three from Calscape. And so I'm going to show you guys these. Calscape, I know in August I shared about Calscape's new and old site. So here's three resources from Calscape that we want to share with you. Yes, you can create your native plant garden. So a blog about knowing before you grow. And these are great people to learn from. This is from their Bloom, what is it, Bloom CA website that has examples of like if you wanted to get this look or get this garden or some version, you can see these have similar plants but laid out slightly different. That looks like gorilla hair, really pretty, right? And then this is from their Bloom California website. So as you scroll through, these are different suggestions and how they look in real life, which is really cool. They talk about different heights and design and garden tips. So this is a great resource. The next one from Calscape is just planting tips for a successful landscape. We all get excited about planting and then we plant things and then things start to go awry and we get frustrated. And I think that's where a lot of people, um, in a busy lifestyle can get sort of turned off from gardening when you have challenges and frustrations. So these planting tips will help you. And I will tell you that as I've learned more about native plants, there's not always like 100% consistency about the recommendations. And it's important to remember that it's not like those, as long as you're going to a credible source, like the California Native Plant Society, for example, or some sort of other research institute or Theodore Payne Foundation or the California Botanic Garden. And there's other resources that have lots of credible information, but if you're not sure, you can always reach out to the master gardeners. But a lot of these differences and nuances have to do with the varied climates that we have in Southern California and also the varied soil and the varied conditions that you might have at home. So it was really interesting. I attended a California Botanic Gardens workshop, and they made some recommendations on planting natives that were things that I hadn't really, that I kind of thought weren't really recommended. But then I started to think about what are the differences in where they're putting these plants. Another thing I thought about was like they used gravel as a mulch around native plants in some of their containers. And I was like, wow, that's not usually something I would recommend, but I've seen in the California Botanic Gardens how they implement that. So if you get information that's like a little bit inconsistent, don't take it as maybe one is more or less correct, but try to do what we get trained to do as master gardeners, which is analyze what are the conditions under which that works for them, and do am I planting in similar conditions? Am I creating something similar? Am I going to forget to water? So gravel may help out unless it's in direct sun. If it's not in direct sun, it may hold moisture. So just all these nuances. So here's a great article about tips. And then another one, a planting guide for your location. So you can download these different guides. These look pretty cool. So I want to share that. Um, the next one is the Cowscape for your home. So another Cowscape website, but where you can search. This is the page. So here you could put in your zip code, your address, or you could also search different plants. And so in the past, we showed the Cowscape general website, but here's one of the elements. And let's see if I can navigate to this. I'm still learning their new website. So which one is it? Find native plants. Find native plants, search for native plants. Yes. Okay. So it's under the find native plants, search for native plants. I'm still remembering how this new one goes. And this is where you can put in your address and get plants recommended. You can do by type, nursery availability. There's some amazing plants that are just impossible to find. Sun, water, under special uses. You can see bank stabilization, containers, deer resistant hedge, lawn alternatives, water features, and wet habitat. So those are some cool different features that you can search on the Cowscape website. We've got our Waterwise Garden Planner website. This is a great website that is hosted by the Chino Basin or by the Waterwise Community Center, done in partnership with a few other organizations, and another wonderful list, the top 10 plants for Southern California gardens. So again, most of these are kind of focused on the IE this month, but when you're on, for example, the Cowscape website, if you are up in, Apple Valley or somewhere up in the mountains or anywhere else in the high desert, you guys still have your lists. So this is a great search tool for you, and these other websites as well would be relevant to you. Okay, and then next we have some food preservation websites. So one of them is from our statewide Master Gardener program, and the other one is from the National Center for Home Food Preservation. I want to show you those two. So if you've got apples or pears this year, then the statewide UC Master Food Preserver Program page has some recipe cards that I love. So there's apple honey, apple jelly, several other apple recipes, a low sugar, apple cinnamon jam. You can also see figs on there, lots of citrus stuff. But a lot of people are thinking about apples this time of year. So here's some recipe cards like the apple honey, for example. Here you go. Here's all the information you need. And this also talks to you about canning it. I'm always thinking about eating it, so I'm just thinking about what you're making. But this one is talking to you about making something you can preserve. So there's some great recipes there. The other website I talked about was the National Center for Home Food Preservation. I'm still getting used to the new look. I'm like, and then the search bar is enhanced by Google. I have feelings about, well, anyways, this is how it now looks. This is probably a much more powerful, up-to-date search engine. And so you would type in apples. So you would go to their main page, the National Center for Home Food Preservation, and then you would type in, for example, apples or anything else. And here is making apple juice, apple butter. If you want to just search up, like, for example, let's see if they have something on freezing apples. I don't know if they do or not, but look at that, they do. So freezing apples, in case you've got a ton, it talks to you about preparing it. Are you putting them in a syrup pack or a dry pack? So if you've ever used the National Center for Home Food Preservation website, and just like any time they update any website, I think it's just a matter of refamiliarizing yourself with it, and they've got so much great information. So check that out. And that is our top 5 plus a couple extra resources for October. The Master Gardeners are here to help. You can email us or call us on our helpline, and you can come to our second Sunday of each month presentation between 11 and 12:30. We also have our social media and our website that you can go check out for resources. And you can here's our helpline information. And then the Master Food Preservers also have a social media page, so you can check them out on Facebook. And they have their website, and they're also here the second Sunday of each month. If I just said the second Saturday for Master Gardeners, I meant the second Sunday. We're here the second Sunday of each month, and they also have an email and phone number that you can reach out to for any questions. So that is our top 5 plus some resources that we love for October. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next month with our resources for November. Take care.